Solana about to be dethroned by a new contender in crypto? We have base chain on the heels of Solana right now. I have a hot take, a couple deep thoughts on what we could actually be looking at as the crypto markets begin to coil up, consolidate after their recent pullbacks. We're looking for the top picks, and I'm have pretty good, about 5 at least top picks of new projects that I got to keep an eye on. A couple deep IoT projects, and really the things that I feel like are going to be the fastest horses in the race in this crypto bull market of 2024 and 2025. But also an amazing guest joining us here today from one of the greatest meme tokens of all time. Now on the couch, we got the homies here. We got Kelly Kellum hanging out on my right here. What's up? How you doing? Good to have you on the show.
You know what? Somebody asked me this morning, how's crypto doing? And I said, despite what you might see on crypto Twitter, crypto's doing fantastic. We're consolidating in a great area, and memes. I'm excited to talk with the guests here in a second because memes seem to be running in their entirely own narrative this cycle, not the capital flow thing. But I'm doing good. I'm doing well. I'm feeling good.
You're always
happy
such
to be
good
here.
energy, man. You know what I mean? You're just like hyped up. You're ready to go. I love it. You got the vibes for the tribe, man. I love it. And Isaac is a very focused young man out here putting out crypto content, just being all laser faced. How you doing? Thanks for joining me, man.
Doing great. Happy to be here with both of y'all.
Yeah, dude. We're going to be getting after it
in the flesh.
We got a very, very special guest today. I'm super excited to talk to him. Sean from the Trump token team. Bullish on Parade. What do we got?
Holy crap, your boy grew up quick.
Oh my God, you get the search. Oh man, huh? Dude, this morning show with Bronson was bananas, and it made me sweat. He was just like, I got to like the crescendo of like the main point. He'd be like, "Hey Dad, Brooklyn doesn't like Bitcoin." He's like trying to throw his sister under the bus. Like all of a sudden, it's like, bro, just calm down, okay? Just calm down. Unbelievable. We got Owen running the sticks. Owen, shout out to you, man. Owen is a great human being. I asked him because he's like he's a
aficionado.
Yeah, aficionado. He knows what he's doing when it comes to knives. Apparently, I have a decent knife. It's like an Ontario knife. He showed me this. He might be giving me this one. He turned my life upside down because apparently I've been carrying them upside down for who knows how long. And then also the PS5 thing from this morning. This kid's ridiculous. Okay, so he has a PS4, brand new Nintendo Switch, gigantic, huge screen TV, all the things, brand new Pokemon setup. He's on the air this morning. He's like, you know what? You don't give me PS5. That's all I could hear about. I'm like, really, bro? Really? But I'm probably still going to get the PS5 for myself, and then he can play when I'm, done. But, well, you know what? Before we get this special guest, shout out to everyone that's joining us for this awesome show. XR Pete, what up, dude? Beardo, C90FTW, Bullish on Parade, Nicole Ministator, and Papa Gooth, Dino Might, Sufficient Enough, and Angzika's Kopak. You know what? Talking about Axel. I think I've seen Axel before. I might check it out later on the show. Thanks for joining us. Let's bring up Sean here. This man is the myth, the legend himself. How are you doing, Sean? Thank you for joining us on the Blockchain Basement, my brother.
Oh, it's good to be back again. Always fun to be on this show. I love you guys. I love what you're about, and it's always exciting to be here. We always have a good time. Last time we were here, had a fun time. So
yeah,
have fun again.
Well, in the chaos of the world, how can we not have fun with this chaos? You know what I mean?
You're not laughing, you're crying, right?
I know.
So.
Sarcasm was the only way I dealt with the Summer of Love and all of the moves from Maxwell? All of these leaders. It was Ghislaine Maxwell, but also Maxine Walters and all of the other people that were going after the MAGA folk, the deplorables, right? We're so terrible of people. Unbelievable. But
well, you know what? Things are so dramatic right now that if you were trying to script a reality show, you wouldn't need to adjust anything that's in the news media. You're like, yeah, that's right on point with just pure insanity.
Yeah, it's insane. But, Sean's out there. He runs a podcast, Ungoverned, pretty much one of the best shows out there. Are you exclusively to Rumble for Ungoverned, Sean?
Yeah, so we run exclusively to Rumble, rumble.com/LFATV. We have a lot of fun. So it's, look, it's not for everybody. It's definitely opinionated. I come from New York. I'm also Italian. So there's definitely strong opinions that we don't move off of.
Yeah,
but
it happens.
It's for some folks. It's for a lot. A lot of people like it. We have a good time. And I say it's probably the most reliable place you can get your information, but I'm biased.
I know. And we're in this weird world where like a lot of the people are still on YouTube. So, and we're a crypto / macro world war politics show. So we kind of ride that edge. You know, I have some worries about us continuing to do so as we get closer and closer to this contentious election. I feel like the same hands that stifled the voices of Americans during the last election process are going to be coming out of the woodwork and coming after us again and silencing us. I just feel it in my bones. I've been warned by a couple people that, like, you know what, those closures to free speech on the tube, they're coming back. I know it's just the ebb and flow of how the world works. And obviously now we have, you know, the Trump being called a felon by Biden, right? We have this whole talking point that they've started up, they've cooked up. How dare you? Aren't you going to think of the kids before you vote for a felon? But I don't think there's anything they can do to stop the Trump token. You know,
Nope.
We've talked about this before, you know, and give us a little background on your involvement in the Trump token. We've been huge fans of it for a long time, and I got excited once again when it hit $5. Now we're calmed down. It's kind of an exciting time to be looking at the graphs. You know, but kind of what's your involvement and what are you up to at the Trump token team?
So the team's very excited. It's always very excited. I run the spaces for them every Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. We had a record number of listeners last night. A lot of people came to us to figure out a lot of what was going on with, you know, some of the other tokens in the market. Trump was in the news, et cetera. So we had actually, Twitter is telling us 70,000 tuned in last night, which we're very happy about. So yeah. And there's a lot of different communities that had supported us last night because they know what we're about. You know, we're the project prides itself on being totally transparent. We're donating to two charity organizations, which is really cool. So 1% buy and sell tax on the Ethereum blockchain, and that 1% is split three ways: marketing for the project, and then we send the other splits to NVHS, which is focusing on helping homeless veterans, and then Veterans for Child Rescue, which is fighting against child trafficking, which is pretty significant because today Joe Biden's border folks, you know, the part of that regime, mentioned they lost. Could you believe this? Losing 600,000 children who crossed over the border, right? So, you know, we're trying to give back there. Obviously, you know, everybody wants their bags to do well. You know, but as the bags do better, these organizations receive more money, and we, you know, periodically on these spaces hear from our charity organizations about how those contributions have been helping them. Yeah. We just spoke with NVHS last week. They were specifically targeting Florida for a while. Now they're talking about plans to expand because, you know, they've received a lot from MAGA Meme Coin. I'm not even sure what the running total is, but it's over $500,000, I believe, that we've donated as a whole. It is
everybody, so important that you guys are doing this. 600,000 kids, you know, like, and
they lost them.
You just losing. Yeah. I mean, it's, you know, the darker part of me wants to go down the nefarious planned part of this. You know what I mean? I know we're still on YouTube, so I'm not going to do that. Maybe I'll do it on the black site. But they've lined up this felon narrative. Now, this is a hard question to answer, I know, for yourself, but in your opinion, do you think that Trump is going to actually go to jail before this election takes place in 24?
Good question. Great question. Do I think he's going to go? Right? No.
Right.
Do I think he's going to be sentenced? Yes. Okay. This is an important distinction, right? So everyone is awaiting the sentencing date. And what if the judge sentences Donald Trump to jail? Well, I'm saying there's no way the judge isn't going to do that, because if you watched the New York trial enough, you saw the defense wasn't allowed to call expert witnesses. The jury didn't have to agree on what Donald Trump actually did. Nobody knows what the felony actually is. If you ask one of these people who are, hey, he's a convicted felon. What was the felony? I have no idea, but he was convicted. That doesn't bother you at all, right? It doesn't bother you at all that we don't know what the crime was, but you know that he committed a crime. Well, how do you know he committed a crime if you don't know what he committed, right? It's crazy. So you have the judge now, thumb on the scale, daughter involved politically, has a financial stake in what's going on in daddy's courtroom. And you see you see just how biased everything was in this entire process. The gag order, the way he spoke to defense witnesses, he wouldn't sustain any of the objections from the defense, the Trump team. There's no way he goes through all of that, putting all of that on display for the world to see, to then not sentence him to jail and let this guy get off, let Donald Trump get off. There's just no way. So I think the judge knows that the minute he sentences Trump to jail, even if it's for 24 hours, the minute he sentences Trump to jail, he's going to, obviously, Donald Trump is going to appeal the sentencing. An appellate court is most likely, because of the situation, going to stay the sentencing until the appeals play out. And so the judge can then say, well, I sentenced him. What else would you like me to do? I was overruled by a higher court. He gets off. It's okay there. He's not going to be the one held accountable. And now the focus turns to the appellate division, which is a lot different in New York than New York. It's weird. The Supreme Court's actually the lowest state level court. Mm-hmm. And then you have the appellate division and then the Court of Appeals, which is the highest court in New York. So I used to live there. It's very strange. But so do I think Donald Trump's going to go to jail? No. Do I think he's going to be sentenced to jail, as in the judge is going to issue a sentence, which is then stayed by an appeals court? Yes. Yeah. 100%. I don't think anybody goes through this trouble to then not send him to prison.
Absolutely. And, I'm agreeing with you there. Now, when we're thinking about the fallout from this, so what kind of an impact do you think that it'll have seeing a sentencing come down on Trump for voters? Like, is this going to be something where your average person's like, now they were slightly about Trump and now they see these charges come out and they're going to pull back? Or it has the 8 years of hit pieces from the media against Trump started to sound like that boy who cried wolf and they're just not listening anymore? Is this basically, my mind goes to, is this a fresh-minded population that's ready to be psyoped again? Or have they been paying attention to what the media has been spinning about Trump for almost a decade now? Smear campaigns, all the things to put him under the ground in the public eye. Do you think that that's actually going to have any effect at the polls when it comes to the election?
Well, we saw really no movement in the polls post-conviction. So everyone knows he's convicted and everyone knows that these convictions, this is a bogus conviction, but it's still a conviction that could carry jail time. I think this helps him if they sentence him to jail. I think it helps him even more if he goes. But I think because give me that picture of Donald Trump behind bars.
I bought the mugshot. I got the mugshot NFT the moment it came out. I got it immediately.
It's amazing.
I saw it. Yeah, it was like the most cataclysmic photograph I had ever seen in my life. Trump in that mugshot. I bought the NFT immediately.
And you know what we call it, by the way? You know what we call it? We call it the Mona Lisa of mugshots. Nobody's ever seen a better mugshot. There's been a lot of people. Al Capone, there's been a lot of people who have had their mugshot taken. I've taken the greatest one. And there's a lot of people who took good ones, too. You look at it. So many beautiful people took a mugshot, but nobody as beautiful as me. We call it the Mona Lisa. It's very valuable. It's worth a lot. The Mona Lisa of mugshots, believe me.
Exactly my thoughts, man. It's like just an etched artwork,
If there ever was a short to be made on this channel,
that was it. Yeah, right. No, I mean, Sean's crushes it as shorts, bro.
Flipping it after stream.
And now, so the poly market, it's, kind of that place where people can go and kind of hedge their bets on what's going to happen just in pop culture or even the election. Poly market has Donald Trump in the lead. He's got 56% saying yes, he's going to get elected. Joe Biden is at 34%. Big Mike coming in at number 3. Michelle Obama with 3% of the vote. It seems like kind of the RFK potential is gone and washed. I feel like it's harder and harder to justify voting alongside libertarians as they booed Trump. When he went out, he reached out to libertarians. He's trying to offer them all of these financial safeguards that libertarians say that they want. It's being offered to them on a silver platter, and he gets booed. But still probably won over half the audience there because, it's just half of the people can see through their own biases. It's pretty incredible. But the markets at large, I don't know if there's any way that they can. I don't want to get banned, but we saw Dominion still in control of Puerto Rico's process, right? I don't think anything has changed on that counting side. So I'm very curious, or not really curious, but pessimistic that our votes we have to win by a long shot. I feel like, so to stop them from arbitraging the data, because they got away with a little bit of arbitrage with no problem with those statistical anomalies out of Wisconsin and Pennsylvania. No one seemed to bat an eye. It has to be like a cataclysmic win, which I think he's slated to. But you know, these meme tokens, the Trump token, it's kind of that way we can vote ahead of time and we can show support. We can support things like finding missing children and stopping that from happening. For God's sakes, what kind of world do we live in? But do you think that the PolitiFi token space in general is overcooked right now? Has it been so hot with all of these different meme coins and things like that coming out, and people are kind of getting tired of it? Or do you think it still has legs to run as we get closer to the election?
Oh, I think it's definitely got legs. And I think we've seen, you know, it's funny. I was looking at Mega Meme Coins, you know, Trump is the ticker, chart the other day after it made this massive run up. You know, we saw the conviction. This is crazy. And the way that this token kind of, the way that it reacts to political stimuli and stuff that comes out of the news cycle is incredible. I mean, and it shows you kind of the sentiment. I knew how people felt about Trump before any post-conviction polling came out. I knew because I watched what happened on our chart. Okay. And that was a thesis going in. Can we look at, you know, how MAGA meme coin behaves versus how he will be positioned in polling? Well, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
So we see the conviction. All right. And we saw it immediately after he was convicted and the guilty news came out, a 30% dive. And then after that, we shot up to all-time highs. And we held those levels while everything else was coming back down, right? While everything else was kind of retracing, we held those levels for a while and then we retraced, which is fine. It's a very healthy retracement because we've had an increase in the amount of holders that we've seen across all 4 chains that we're on. We're bridged, you know, we're originally backed on Ethereum, but we're on BNB Base and Solana as well through Wormhole. So you can get it anywhere, right? And we've seen an increase in holders come to us right after that conviction. And that happened immediately. That happened in the first, 12 to 24 hours after he was quote unquote convicted. And we shot to all-time highs. Now we're seeing polls where he's starting to gain support. So the question I think that should be asked, it's really cool, that we can ask ourselves is this an indicator that is, real-time polling and real-time confidence, not all the time and not the only utility, but after major events. So I think PolitiFi, this whole new segment, which, MAGA meme coin was the first mover in, I think PolitiFi has a lot more legs to it. It's got a lot more room for growth because we're 5 months out of the election. Yeah. Right. So, I mean, that's the big event. That's the big political event. It's November 5th. Everybody knows where it is, what's going to happen. There's going to be an election that day. And that's where in a lot of these, political themed tokens, MAGA meme coin specifically loves to go on runs when we get closer, to major political events. June 27th debate. This token, MAGA meme coin, pumped on the news that Donald Trump and Joe Biden agreed to a debate. So I don't know what's going to happen the night of the debate, but I'm sure it's going to be fun. I'm sure it's going to be an interesting ride as we move through the sentencing, as we move through to the convention, as we look at rallies. Donald Trump continuously publicly endorsing crypto, talking about crypto as an industry. I want to have a great thing for young people. We love the young people. This guy you have on the couch, he's a young person. He's a handsome guy. He's a tremendous guy. He's going to continue to bring in the 18 to 30. People go, how is Trump doing so well in the 18 to 30? Because he knows there's a space out there where 18 to 30-year-olds can go ahead and, plant their roots and grow their career and provide a lot for your country.
Well, they need financial hope. We have all
these events leading into November, right? Yeah. We have all these events leading into November, so many catalysts, and we're extremely bullish about that.
Yeah. No, and what you're saying is absolutely on my mind. It's like people, these young dudes, these young ladies in America, they need hope. You can't just run on a hate campaign against your political opponent. You have to offer them hope.
Right.
And I think when that kid in the MAGA glasses raised his hand in the crowd and is like, "Hey, dude, what are you going to do about crypto?" I think on top of Vivek,
that was.
Yeah, I know. Well, he also had Vivek on his shoulder previous to that. Like, he's got smart people surrounding him, being like, "Yo, this is what the average person that's trying to be on the up and come in America, they want financial hope." see a lot of problems with inflation. A lot of them are looking at crypto and Bitcoin. You know, and it's just like talking about voting with your dollar. You know, that was something that I had come up with when I saw the Gensler token release. It was a long time ago, right as the XRP final sentencing was coming out of the SEC. And we started to see meme coins pop up, like making fun of the SEC leaders or whatever, kind of becoming this cat through an open prairie that were basically impossible for the SEC to control at a point, being named after those leaders. And it was that original idea, like we're going to see political people tokenized, like their likeness tokenized, and then people voting with their dollar in support of them. You know what I mean? It's a pretty incredible time to be alive and see it happen in live time. You know, and beyond that, the marriage to crypto, it's like, I get a lot of people asking me if we'll ever see voting done on the blockchain. I'm very torn on that because I see how much arbitrage is already on like mevbots and all these different little sandwich transaction systems that the free market is developing well ahead of, you know, government's ability to regulate. Like what we're seeing is just the free market is outpacing regulation by a mile, and the regulators are trying to act like they have it under control, but really it is out of the bag. I worry about the voting process being put on the blockchain because of that. Have you ever considered that or talked to anyone about the potential of, you know, putting blockchain voting into play at a certain point in American, you know, existence to try to get a more true and realistic election process?
I have. We've actually had that conversation a lot. We've had that conversation in our spaces when we first started with Maga Meme Coin. We've had that conversation a lot, and you know, it sounds intriguing. Now, obviously, there are risks, but you know, one of the biggest factors that was discussed in those conversations, and it was actually Nick who came on Ungoverned, Nick Demondi, and he came on and we talked about this for a little bit, and it was pretty well received by an audience that is a little older, so they're a little more apprehensive to crypto. They hear cryptocurrency, they think CBDCs, social credit score, China. We don't like China. We got along with them, but we don't like China. But all of these, you know, folks that are generally a little more apprehensive to crypto are hearing about how this could enhance election integrity, and all of a sudden, you know, the backbone of cryptocurrency, blockchain technology, you know, all of a sudden isn't such a scary thing after all, because there's something there for everybody, right? Even if your slice of the pie is small, you still get a slice. And, you know, I think that's starting to appeal to people. But yeah, there's the risk. I think maybe one of the reasons why Donald Trump is warming up to crypto is maybe someone's mentioned that to him. You know how big of an election integrity hawk he is. So it's very possible.
Absolutely. And that's something that I hope for. You know, one of the thoughts that come to mind, like Charles Hoskinson, who leads Cardano, I feel like he means well for liberties of the people. So that is one that I'm watching for, maybe the potential blockchain where 10, 20 years down the line, we might be able to actually see that happen. Now, I got to talk to you about this DJT token scam. It is a gigantic, I mean, it's still ongoing, essentially. Like the token, it's not completely to zero. Let's see the token. I'm just going to read it out for listeners on radio, but it's $214,000 market cap right now. So it's not to the gutter. This thing went nuts on the thoughts or premise that it was endorsed by Trump or his team. And I saw a tweet from Stephen Steele. I think you know Stephen Steele. He was talking about DJT and his project. Martin Shekel. What is Shkreli? Okay, Martin Shkreli, the farmer bro. I call him the farmer bro. Basically, it looks like he's in a little hot water for acting like he was connected. Now, did you have any thoughts on Martin Shekel? I mean, I have a video from Trump a while ago talking about his thoughts on Martin. But he's the farmer bro, went to prison. We all know the story. What are your thoughts on this DJT? It's like Donald Trump media token. Like, are we going to see more people try to come out and be like, hey, we're directly connected to Trump too? And just the sea of Trump tokens that you don't really know how to pick the right one? Because that's something that I worry about too, is that the actual token that if it is ever chosen by Trump, once it's released, there's going to be too much noise. There's going to be too many tokens out there trying to act like it. So like, what would your advice be to the average listener that's on the edge of their seat, waiting and paying attention in case it does happen? Like, is it going to be coming from Trump's Truth Social? Are we going to be only trusting that as far as direct communication of endorsement for cryptos? Because there's a lot of rumors going around about DJT, a lot of money being lost.
Yeah, this is how elaborate this whole operation was, right? Naming it DJT, obviously it's his initials, but it's also the same ticker that his company, Truth Media and Technology Group, trades on the stock exchange, and we'll get right back to that in a second as to why I think this whole operation is happening in the first place. But when you look at, and let's go back a couple days ago, where the initial Pirate Wire, whoever the hell that is, account posted, Donald Trump launching a meme coin on Solana, Barron spearheading. Right? It said that Trump was launching the token. That was what drew everybody's attention. Okay, Trump's launching it. It's his son is running it, but Trump is launching it. I want you to understand that original premise. And then I want to see how people are talking about it now. Now the goalposts, this is like Anthony Fauci level goalpost moving, right? Have been moved so far that it's, well, I never said Trump was launching it, but Barron is somehow involved. Well, what does involved mean, right? Does involved mean that, your friend of a friend of a friend said Barron wanted to launch a meme coin, and then the friend of a friend of a friend came to this Martin guy and said, hey, Barron Trump wants to launch one, and then passed the message back? Are we playing telephone? Are we pen pals? What's the deal? Nobody knows, A, what the word involved means, or B, now we've taken completely out of the occasion. Notice the conversation happening around this coin is no longer about, is Donald Trump launching it? That was the word used. It was launched, right? It wasn't Donald Trump is thinking about it because his son wants to do it and this is what it's going to be and yada, yada, yada. No. It was launched. It sounded like Trump was doing it. So you asked another question in there, which is another good question. Where do we go to find out what he's up to? The answer absolutely is Truth Social. I want to think everybody, whether you love Trump or hate Trump, wherever you fall on the political spectrum, take it out of the equation. My question to you, whenever Donald Trump launches something with his name on it, does he do it quietly? Yes or no? Okay. The answer is no. It's Donald effing Trump. Okay. Right. He makes it the biggest. This is bigly, the best, fantastic, strongly, incredible, tremendous, huge. Who could forget about huge? We use that word a lot. This is a guy who will exaggerate anything, right? If it has his name on it. So now we're finding out that there's a token that he is, according to these other accounts, launching, and we get nothing. We get posts on Truth Social with Donald Trump with the U.S. Open champion Bryson DeChambeau hitting drives on Trump Westchester right after he won the U.S. Open. We've still heard nothing. He had a rally yesterday in Wisconsin where he mentioned, ending Joe Biden's war on cryptocurrency to preserve the future for young people. Not a single mention of this token. And we're going to go back to now DJT. Yeah. Do you know what happened yesterday with the DJT stock, which Donald Trump owns a massive amount of? It went down 15%. Oh, wow. All of that liquidity that was buying DJT or that was involved in the stock DJT, Truth Media Technology Group, that's Truth Social, that's the platform right there, was moved to this token. Okay. So liquidity was drawn away from a real project that Donald Trump is absolutely involved with, that we know about, to a project that was disguised as something that Donald Trump was involved with. Now we know he's not involved with it. Nobody's even claiming that he's involved with it. They're now saying, well, Barron is involved. How is he involved? What is he doing? So you've taken all that money and a 15% decrease in the stock price of Truth Media Technology Group, but it's also a 15% decrease in how much it's worth that Donald Trump holds of that company. So they have hurt him here. Yeah. Big time. And you now have potentially, if they can draw some sort of line, and you don't even need a line that connects with the left anymore. Now you have Donald Trump just a month and a half ago starting to embrace crypto. He's saying it publicly. And this token pops up that looks like a scam that is misrepresenting a lot of things. You don't think the left is going to try and tie that to Donald Trump and tie him up in
course
court
they
again?
are.
I think there's a great chance. And Stephen made a post like this today, that this could be an operation simply to damage Donald Trump.
Man,
The timing is too. You look at when the pool was created. If you look on Dex Screener or on Dex Tools, mid-April, that's right when he started talking about crypto again, right? That's right when we started seeing him floating around. Was this a time bomb? Was this something, okay, deploy it now, let's hurt him because he's
Shkreli did time too. Maybe they wrapped Shkreli up for doing the time. And, I don't want to, go get banned or whatever, but maybe the powers that be that oppose Trump got a hold of Martin, the farmer bro, after he had gotten in so much trouble over those pharmaceutical misdoings. Maybe he's a asset for the other side of this.
Well, there's also a tie to, in this whole thing. Stephen made a post. It's really detailed, to Peter Thiel, who had a falling out with Donald Trump. Donald Trump, called Martin Shkreli a spoiled brat when he was being sentenced to prison. There's bad blood there. So now, is this being done, simply to be one of these crypto rug pulls where, devs run off with a ton of money, et cetera, the insiders get rich? Or is this something even more than that? I don't know. I'm asking these questions honestly because I don't know. What I do know is that if you just watch the way the insiders are talking about the project, right? First, it was put out, the initial premise to investors, the pitch, Donald Trump is launching this token.
Right.
The conversation is no longer about whether Donald Trump is launching the token. Now they're talking about the quote unquote involvement of Barron Trump. Well, what is involvement? Nobody wants to answer that question.
Right.
And when Stephen asked Martin on Twitter publicly, is this real or not? Martin's response was, well, who are you? Oh, wait a second. He can't ask a question? What if he's a potential investor? What if he's got millions of dry powder he wants to deploy into your project? What do you mean, who are you? Wait, so we're going to deflect. I do politics. I've been involved for the last 4 years, very, very closely, intimately involved in politics. When somebody doesn't answer a question like that, it's because they don't want to answer the question, because they know the real, truthful answer to that question doesn't just hurt them, it ends them.
Right.
And this is a huge problem for Martin and for the whole project and for the industry. But I will say this, a lot of people, a lot of smart people, a lot of other GCR, a lot of people around policing their own, saying, nah, don't trust this. I don't trust this. And it turns out they were right. That's the good of this industry. They want to make sure that this doesn't get a black eye.
Exactly. Because we have a blockchain. Zach XPD was able to call it out. What do you got, Kelly?
Well, I just wanted to say, I'm relatively a nobody in the grander scheme of things of the, of people out there that have massive draw. And even at my level, and this is 3 years ago, I was already kind of, making a little bit of a name for myself. I participated in like a Twitter Spaces with a project that was launching just because I knew a friend of a friend. So I just popped in and spoke. And then about a month later, people started asking me, essentially this project put me on, without talking to me, put me on as basically part of their marketing team and co-founder of the project. And I had no idea, no involvement whatsoever. And then they rug awareness of how to do due diligence. I don't trust a thing because there's a rumor. Yeah. I'm not going to do it because the name, the title of a project does not mean that what it's titled is involved with it. There's going to be a lot of mimics. I mean, even not only DJT, but somebody asked me to pull up a meme coin on stream this morning, and when I typed in the ticker, there was like 40 different versions of it, and it was a no-name thing, right? So we all need to just be aware of this moving forward, because the money is ripe for the picking right now if you don't have diligence. And I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's probably more likely than not a psyop, basically organized against the Trump organization to tie him to bad faith.
There's only one Trump token, man. It's the Trump token.
That's right.
Sean's the guy that has the token. We got the token, the Trump token.
Well, and just really, really quick, what Kelly was just saying too, that the title of the token doesn't represent who's involved. And so, the name of our token, MAGA meme coin, the ticker is Trump, and it is the largest holding in his crypto wallet. So a lot of people, even the Associated Press, mentioned that it was his meme coin, and it's not. And we've never claimed. That's the difference. We have never once, not ever claimed that he was involved in this project at all, or that he stood behind it. And if anything, we have said that we stand behind him.
Yeah.
And we've never claimed involvement when we had a partnership. We have a partnership with Roger Stone. We introduced that because it's a partnership, but we've never claimed involvement, attachment, association to the campaign ever.
Yeah.
Because we think it actually could hurt them.
Because they actually play by the rules. You know, they're actually a real project that is forward-facing, Doc's team, public-facing, and, they're forward towards the enemy, man. So I want to ask you, what is the next big step for Trump token? Do you got any big plans for the token? What's the next big step for this project?
Well, we talked about this on Spaces last night. We've been looking at some different exchanges, and I heard this, and I wasn't surprised, but I'm upset about it. I believe it was Bybit and Kraken that Stephen mentioned last night in Spaces that have essentially been censoring MAGA meme coin, that have not been allowing us on the exchanges because we are political and align ourselves with Donald Trump. And this just goes to show you, I mean, look, there are other options. Obviously the team's taking, the project wants to go and become more accessible for other people. And obviously these guys are looking into that all the time. Stephen is 24/7, figuring out ways to better market this project. And it's doing well. Despite the fact that we've had these, this essentially censorship. It's always another T to cross, another I to dot before we can get on one of these exchanges, which is interesting. But it's something I've been saying for a long time. No matter who you are, no matter what industry segment of society you exist in, fitness is white supremacy now. Cryptocurrency is has been linked to all sorts of alt-right now because Donald Trump is picking it up. You're going to see the same type of censorship that we've seen on other social media platforms play out on crypto exchanges. And it's happening right now to us. It's happening right now to us. And it's unbelievable. We've got millions of dollars in trading volume every single day. 400, 500, sometimes $1 million market cap. It would be worth it. It's a very popular person, whether you love him or hate him. He's a very memeable guy. His name is always out there in the news, Donald Trump. People will be transacting. This would be a lucrative endeavor for these exchanges as well. And they're just not doing it. They're censoring the project. And so there are a lot of big moves. We can't talk about all of them, but there are other moves that we had been trying to make that we've been hitting resistance on. And it's time that we start, telling people about it. CoinDesk, I believe, just published a piece about this exact issue. But we're excited about the roadmap in the news cycle, the way this coin tends to react to political stimuli. Debate June 27th, sentencing in July, RNC a couple of days later. And then we're, halfway through July at that point. We're heading into August. You get through that last kind of summer month, and you're in election season, September, October, November, and we're expecting this thing to just fly.
Man, I'm looking forward to it. And thank you so much for joining us on the show today, man.
I've got a request, though.
Yeah.
As we wrap out his segment, he does such a good job understanding what's going on in that political specter. Is that a word?
It is now.
Wrap us out as Donald Trump with what your words of inspiration are or thoughts going into the crypto cycle here in the near future.
Well, you look at this, right? You look at this, and we want you to vote red, and we want you to buy when it's red. Let me tell you that. The red candles are for buying, and they're beautiful candles, and we're actually going to, when I'm your president, every time there's a red candle, we're going to write MAGA on the candle, too. It's going to look incredible, but I want you to stay strong. You have to have strong hands. They're thinking about throwing me in jail. I have to say that. And if they do that, I'm going to wind up running that cell block. We're going to have the strongest hands. Nobody's going to be dropping the soap or anything like that. I can tell you that if that happens. But we need you to have, in the crypto space, the strongest hands the world has ever seen. I think you're going to do it. And we're going to save crypto. We're going to save America with crypto. And we're going to do it together. We will make America great again and make crypto great again because our country needs it. Believe me.
I can close my eyes and Trump is in front of me. Incredible, Sean. Well, everyone in the chat, make sure to follow Sean. His link to his Twitter and his podcast, Ungoverned, is in the description below. Make sure you're following this guy, dude. Thank you so much for joining us. And I'm gonna make my way to Spaces on Tuesday. I'll be there.
Sounds good. We'll see you there.
All right, brother. You take care.
Thanks.
Yeah, that was amazing. That guy is incredible. I love it's like he almost does it better than Trump sometimes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, he was pretty right on point.
Oh my God.
He might beat out Shane Gillis.
yeah, I mean, and what a day to have him on. I had to talk about DJT token, guys. Like, I knew it was a scam immediately. I knew DJT was a scam. Look at this graph. I made 6 Solana off of this ridiculous retardedness. Look at this. So these are hourly candles here, and basically just within this hour, these 2 hours, I was trading this thing, turned to Solana into 7, felt good. This thing's definitely going to 0 in my opinion. I don't think that there's any life on this shelf. And here's the just talks about all the DJT token consolidation, massive insiders, massive centralized wallets. Do not get this thing. Please do not follow my chaotic advice. Meanwhile, just keep in mind, I did it while it was happening, live time. I'm on it as it's happening. Just please don't try to fade it and come in after, if you're watching the show tonight or whatnot.
Kind of
Please.
looks like a methy smiley face.
This does. This looks like a methy smiling face for sure. It's like God, you remember The Last of Us at the spores?
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? But now let's look into all the other stuff. We had a super chat. Go up to the super chat. It was between Base and Brett. It's so crazy because I had this. Brett flipped Bonk today in their market cap 1.5 bill compared to a 1.47 bill. Flipping Bonk a pretty dang good deal. Let's see if it held on to this level. I'm going to be talking about, is Base going to outpace Solana this bull market? This is a big question. We got Bonk coming in here. Let's see where Bonk is. I know it's pretty high up. Does he get kicked down a little bit? Where'd it go? Let's type it in. Let's see where we're at. Because that post was about 1.47 bill.
It said.
Yeah, this is perfect. It's at the same level. So Bonk did just get flipped by Brett. Brett is a token that kind of came out of nowhere. This is the main meme token on Base, up 21% on the day. Oh my God. And my man who gave me the super chat, shout out to you for supporting
Look
the
at
channel,
that
first of
giant
all.
bull flag.
Oh, it's insane. Like, this is a gorgeous, gorgeous little graph here. It is 1.4 billion.
Hey, I just want to point something out to everybody watching this. So I'm identifying a bull flag on a meme coin. I typically would say you shouldn't really do TA on most meme coins, but when you have a coin that has a $1.5 billion market cap, you can do TA on it. You don't want to particularly just trust a flag or a structure or pattern on a coin that's got $38,000 market cap. It's going to be irrelevant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Brett, already at 1.4, but I think that really what we're going to be looking at, I've been talking about it since Coinbase got approved to custody BlackRock's Bitcoin. When that time happened, it was at the same time frame that Coinbase was rolling out its own blockchain, Base. Now we have Brett on Base, just absolutely skyrocketing up the charts. We have many other Base-based projects that are making moves as well. And it is my overall opinion that Base projects are going to be the faster horses in the race when it comes to Base versus Solana. I think Solana's still got great upside. And yeah, there are still plenty of 1000x opportunities on Solana. But when you ask yourself, we're in this meme coin craze right now. We go to here. This is from a bear on memes, Kim Young-ju. Meme coin dominance in the alt markets is declining. Crypto Twitter would be shifting from gambling to focusing on fundamentals, similar to a few years ago. Pack it up, lads, is over. Essentially saying that meme coin, the pure speculation, the chaos within it is coming to a close. And now we have to make our way back over to fundamental-based projects only to make upside. In this, I disagree with, my good sir. And really what I'm thinking about the difference between Base and Solana, I see Coinbase custodying BlackRock's Bitcoin, and between BlackRock and Fidelity, they own 5% of the supply of Bitcoin at this point. So they own a large portion of it. And now you have all of these different meme coins basically just completely flooding the Solana ecosystem, while BlackRock and Ondo and all these other projects are plugging in to institutional finance trillions of dollars. Which way do you think the $1 trillion asset managers are going to go to tokenize their assets? Are they going to go to Solana, which is like the red light district of crypto, where yes, there can be gains, but they feel dirty and you're really weird feeling on the way home? Or are they going to go to Base, where They already have regulatory leave me alone clarity from the SEC. Yes, there's still a lawsuit that's not 100% buttoned up, but what is the SEC really going to do to BlackRock and Coinbase? Nothing is the answer to that. So really, we're seeing the upswing. I've already highlighted stablecoin growth on Base is outpacing everything right now. Like Base is coming up faster than any of them did in the past. And I think it's all because of this regulatory clarity that's been opened up. And now they have this silver spoon walking down the street, able to absorb all the RWA projects. Like, that's just my theory. It's kind of chaotic, but I don't see any RWA plays coming out of Solana. I mean, it's all been memes. It's all been kind of fast moving projects. Nothing that's long term, nothing that's like tokenizing your house on it. Nothing that's chain link level is coming out on Solana. Druth, check out Tuker. Got a 5 to 6x to get back to where it was a couple months ago. Let's see here. Let's look at Tuker.
And shout out Deucey Does Crypto.
Yeah,
man.
12-month member.
What? And
Ain't
he
paying it
gifted
forward.
a membership too. Deucey is an absolute savage. Absolute savage.
Deucey's
Much
the
love,
man.
Deucey.
Say, giver's game, baby.
That's right. Crypto Billy. I've been in his space. He's a cool guy.
He's really cool.
Really nice person. So we got to check out
to
Tuker.
the point before you change gears.
Yeah.
I completely agree with you because we have to realize that we're in basically the early adopter stage right now of the market, not the retail market. Early adopters were all of you prior to January 10th, but now we're in the next phase of early adopters, which is institutions and corporations and big money that has basically been saddled entirely in TradFi, starting to come over to the bright side, the crypto side, right?
Yeah.
And so with that being said, they're not going to be looking at meme coins. They're not going to be looking at all these quick flip plays. They're looking at security, trust, and some level of legacy. And so the only meme coin within that would even really fit would be Dogecoin, but I don't think they'd really even be looking at that. They'd be looking at Bitcoin and Ethereum, especially after not only the approval for the Ethereum spot ETF, but the fact that Ethereum just had the enforcement actions closed from the SEC, essentially now relegating it to not being a security, which now gives a little bit more confidence that you're not going to invest in something that then has some regulatory slam down on it. Now, will that pass over into other layer ones like Avalanche and Near and Cardano? Likely will, but Solana, I mean, we were talking about this before stream. There's something like Ivan on Tech brought it up. It's something like 600,000 or more meme coins have been made, in the last 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
And 98% of them rugged and are no longer even there. So that's the stain you're talking about. That's the red light district aspect that I feel like there's a little bit more giga chattiness.
It's like highbrow.
That you know a little bit more about the space if you're doing things in base. And could that change? Absolutely. But it is in that ERC20.
It's bothersome how
optimism
many
narrative.
things rhyme with base. You know what I mean? The pace of the base.
And sometimes you can see
it's
it
very
when I'm saying
based.
it on
Like
my
it just
face.
keeps going. It's in your face. Unbelievable. I'm looking at Tuker. Okay, I hold Tuker. Thanks for reminding me, by the way. I still hold this damn token.
Consolidating into that falling wedge.
As insane as it is, I'm still up on this thing, but I've been holding it just to get much more airdrops from Gummy is really the whole reason I was holding it. Right here, I mean, honestly, I think this is going to turn around. I think this is actually going to hold here just for the moment. Tuker probably won't be around in 3 years from now, but for the moment, if you're asking me in the immediate moment, I think this little stumble 2 points going to act as support. Tuker is kind of slowed down on the video outputs, but they did have one about Trump, and they're staying in the mix here. Speaking of utility tokens, though, something that I also hold, and I got to say something. So I just told you 2 of them that I'm still holding, but I have made a large amount of changes to my portfolio over the past few weeks, and I've decided I got to consolidate. I'm not going to talk about my portfolio anymore on just the main show. I'm only going to be doing it on the Black site or members only streams. And I'm actually going to be doing member only streams to kind of replace the morning stream in the weekdays. So if you are a $5 member, you get an exclusive stream where we're going to go over all your projects and look at the levels that you're particularly watching on Monday. And then the Black site members will be Thursday and Friday. But this Tuker, I still hold it. Probably going to be able to bounce off of here And I'm waiting on that gummy airdrop. Hopefully you can get back up to this shelf around 6, maybe 7 cents for a nice sell spot for myself. Now, real utility, we'll talk about that. One project that's a blast from the past that I still definitely hold, that has been just beaten down. And, it has its moments of excitedness, but this is the all-time graph for Constellation DAG. This information goes back to 2018. As you can see, DAG is at 3 cents right now, having a hard time. All-time high was at around 41 cents. But the reason why I remain bullish on DAG is because they've passed 3 different phases of programs with the Department of Defense and the actual government organizations behind the Air Force and even international. Like, we'll go to the website here. I want to show you everything that these guys are involved with, because I think that the utility side of crypto is not forgotten. It's just kind of sleepy right now. It's asleep. Ryan says it's dead. I still hold far from dead. Actually, I think that some huge things are coming for this. And
IBM,
it's working with
AWS,
IBM. Yeah, no
US
big
Air
deal.
Force. Holy moly.
No big deal, right? Like, you go to the federal side, and this is really where the juice and the squeeze is, folks. They have direct letters of support from the U.S. Air Force. This is, from my chaotic thought process, I look at data encryption services for the government as being one of their primary focuses. We're heading into World War III. China, Iran, all of them want to hack our systems and shut us down in a cyber manner. These cybersecurity designs are of the utmost national security importance for us. Look at this, though. They're working with AWS, and not just, on their server. They actually work with them, Space ISAC, and just a slew of others. You can go through here and go through all these Secretary of Defense letters, Air Mobility Command, all of this, a large design of systems that, we have a situation where we have drones now and new military applications that all communicate. They need that communication to happen live time. Not to mention securing the energy grid at large. That is a whole nother rabbit hole. But the immediate thing that I see in the future is encrypted data of F-35s talking to drones on the ground. That's the very tangible thing that I am bullish on this thing of capabilities. Now, 3 cents, honestly, I'm basically wanting to buy more of this thing. I, really have been buying this thing only in the 3 cent range for the last since about mid 2023. And I think about now is a good time to grab some, because I know that they have something happening.
What
They're going
markets
live.
is it on?
We'll go here. I can't remember. I think I got mine on Uphold. Let's see here. Gate.io, KuCoin, Mexi, BitTrue, and let's keep going here. I know it was on Uphold. That's right. They took it off Uphold. Those savages, mother truckers. They took it off Uphold. That's where I got it. This is a tough one to get.
Which is interesting because wasn't one of their partners Uphold?
I don't think
Go back
so.
to their page.
it was on there.
Good, Uphold.
Really?
Yeah.
Why would Uphold take the Uphold
Go
has
to that main page, the first page you're on.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
You guys scroll down, it'll show one of them is Uphold.
No way.
Yeah. Way.
There
dude.
is no way.
Way.
I can't believe Uphold took it. There it is. What the hell is this? You don't sell my DAG to me? I like DAG, and I think that people that are interested in things that can have just insane upside and like full infrastructural importance, Constellation DAG is one of those things. They are on Uphold. That's weird that it's not showing it's available on CoinMarketCap, but thank you for verifying that. Thank you very much. So now we talk about DAG. This is Dagnum PI talking about AMD confirmed security breach. AMD has stolen data, is the amount of stolen data yet to be determined. The company is now working with law enforcement aware of a cyber criminal organization claiming to be in possession of stolen AMD data. We are working closely with officials and third-party hosting partners to investigate the claim and the significance. Now, the fact that this even was mentioned, I'm kind of worried that it was a big data breach. Like, companies of this size don't bring up small problems if they can go away easily, and they bring up only problems that they're going to have to face the market for.
It's a big liability issue.
Big liability issue. So seeing them, AMD come out with this statement, and appreciate DAG for highlighting it, it just reinstates the need for our grid and our data to be protected in a stronger way. We can talk about putting voting on the blockchain. We talk about all these things that could improve our process and our human existence and make a more fair world. Now, we see the data breaches, the scams, they're going rampant. We need something like Constellation DAG to stop it. I mean, even this, look at Kraken also exploited $3 million in bug that had now been fixed. It's just all over the place. I don't really want to read into this too much. It looks like no clients were at risk, claiming the bug derived from a flaw in a recent user UX exchange. Accredited clients' accounts before the assets deposits cleared fully, allowing for a malicious attacker to efficiently print assets in the Kraken account for a period of time. Not a great look. It's kind of the weird part of being a exchange, trying to deal with all these, like building out all of those interoperability layers. You know what I mean? That's like, it's a large ecosystem we're trying to put together right now with a bunch of moving parts, and the arbitragers. Like, I went on a rant about mevbots. Mevbots, maximum extractable value. They're in here just sandwiching transactions and taking money off the top. So what up, bro? How you doing? Love you too, buddy. That's my boy. My boy popped his head in he loves being here. He's a bit much sometimes. You know what I mean? Like, he gets much. So this is just on the Solana. Who's the top player? I have the top dexes by volume over the past 24 hours from Alt Crypto Gems: Uniswap, Radium, Jupiter, and Orca. No, what is this? This is stupid. That's a mislabeling. That's a mistaken. Look at this account he tagged there.
He didn't drop the P.
Yeah, he didn't drop the P.
Wait, he's got Uniswap on there also.
I know. He's doubled it up. What I was more so looking at within this is, why the hell is Curve still here? How in the hell did Curve hold on to that gigantic cataclysm it went through? I think that the price action has actually tried to recover.
They had a pretty big, I don't remember if it was a breach. They had a pretty negative story that came out.
Was the owner. The owner, it was Mikhail Urgarov, I think it was. I think he was liquidated, and just a cascading, stop hunting, basically. And it's basically held out at about 25 cents. It's since researched at 32 cents. Curve is an old school player in the game. It'd be pretty cataclysmic and problematic to see Curve go down in total. Very concerning story when it broke. Overall price action, not that great. I've never been very interested in Curve on the price side, but you can't deny it's got a market cap of $500 million. It is a player. So interesting to see that. But at large, I think Solana is going to continue to outpace everything. The stable coins I think Base is going to outpace Solana. The stable coins coming into Base are continuing to move counter. Do you see people leaving the markets and getting scared? And you see more and more moving in and getting ready to buy up things on Base. This is a new one as well. Minima Blockchain partnering with race data logger from McLaren GT4 supercar. Decentralized and device agnostic layer 1 blockchain for DePIN projects, Minima, working with data platform Influx Technology to integrate a blockchain powered data tracker into a McLaren GT4 supercar ahead of the Spa-Francorchamps in June. Per the press release, the DePIN data logger acquired the data directly from the car's engine and collects the data points on over 20 parameters, including vehicle ignition, the timing, braking, oil pressure, engine temp, steering angle, and rotation and gear switching. This is badass.
But you know why? Because when I think back to not even that long ago, 15 years ago, 30, but more so when you think about the 60s and 70s, even further beyond that, when the drivers, the racers, that was the sensor for the car. The driver would come and be like, it's feeling a little loose on the back, and I think it's running hot because I can smell now it's like, yo, we got all the data points. We know exactly this is a quarter of a temperature different. Like this is not, and this is what people need to realize. It might not be interesting to you if you don't watch racing, but even when we look at NASCAR today and Formula One, the data that they get from that, basically, in the development, the research, RNA, what do you call it? Research, R&D that goes into those different.
There was no R&D done on R&D. I'm just kidding.
But you know what I mean? All this R&D that's done for this sport actually translates into better technology for the everyday cars, but then other things as well. So using this in this high performance type of stress environment actually provides data points that you can scale and grow those different technologies and also use that in other industries that are not related to racing at all.
Yeah, I mean, this freaking thing looks so cool. I'm on the website right now. Real world blockchain, agnostic, yada yada. You can go here to the enterprise, go to motorsport. And I just like something that I'd like to pay attention to in projects that are utility focused is a laser focus on exactly what each piece of the project is going to do, right? Like you have to have a specified goal if you're trying to make it up as a blockchain in this environment with, what are we at, like 100,000 different projects. They're talking about, all kinds of different things here. They're even bringing up a lot of RWA projects, RWA focus and representing the Internet of Things on the blockchain. So
is this completely IOTA's out of the picture now?
Oh God,
Remember
IOTA.
Well,
IOTA tried.
2017?
Well, but that was the last. Let's see here, and that was so last cycle. Unbelievable. That's kind of how crypto goes. You look at the hot new during the bull run, the up and come of the bull run. You find them as they're ripping. Let's see here. So, oh my God.
So huge narrative speculation is great, and then no execution.
Yeah. And they didn't necessarily inflate themselves to death. They just haven't delivered, it looks like, because this is not horribly sick from inflation on the market cap to price comparison here. Man, IOTA, that's a throwback. I haven't heard anyone bring up IOTA for a long time.
It's been a minute. But that's a great reminder, everybody. That coin that you think is great right now in your portfolio, don't marry your bags, because the majority of stuff that's out there, there's very few projects that are actually even anywhere near, I'm talking like anywhere near fully delivering on what the promise or the hope was for that project to really deliver on. So you got to be nimble in this market.
Look at the run up of the hopes, though. Look at the hopes, 25 cents to $5 in 2017. Had a lackluster. This is where I kind of lost interest in it. This was definitely on my radar when I was heading into this bull market, but then it really didn't perform anywhere near what people were expecting. So, be careful of it. And that's something I'm glad you brought up IOTA, because I go through all these things. I'm super bullish on their potential and stuff like that. But guess what? The reason why is because we're in a bull market. We are in a bull trend right now. When we're sitting there falling off of a cliff, we went from 40 to 20 down to $15,000. I was isolating to Bitcoin and Ethereum and recommending, to myself, not financial advice, obviously, to insulate into the larger crypto. Now, since we had bottomed out and we broke out of the $20,000 channel, I've been comfortable digging back into these deep picks and fishing around for those 10, those 20Xs, because that's where my portfolio really, really starts to blow up. So, there's a lot to keep in mind. You have to have if you're new to crypto, you're seeing all these new things. I don't think that we're going to be driving Solana vehicles down the road next week. We see companies within these ecosystems trying to grab capital and move the buck forward, and we're here to catch that upside. So,
and you know what? You said it. We're in a bull trend right now because we're having some consolidation and it's not mooning. This is a time, if you felt like you missed anything, you didn't get it. This is a part of the market cycle that changes your future if you can absolutely step out of your emotions and look at that damn data.
Well, and Seth, I know. And Seth, look at Seth's comment, research Ondo for 3 minutes after Josh let him know about it. Ondo could hit $30 billion market cap. Dude, absolutely. I agree with you. And Ondo is actually turning into one of my bigger holds. My first buy of Ondo was 40 cents. Took profits on the last pump up to $1.40. And then
I told the BitLab Discord about it, I think February 10th or something like that. And it was a very, very small part of my portfolio. And now it's in that alt portfolio. Now it's near the top.
Yeah. And so, I got to be, now you know what I've done in my portfolio. I'm going to be isolating those conversations to the black site and members only. I got to make sure we got support for the channel. I'm looking to give Owen a paycheck. Eventually, I'm going to make it happen. So, shout out to everyone that's getting us there. We're on our way, buddy. Owen, you know what? I'm gonna pay you some Avalanche for this knife. I'm going to send you some Avalanche or something for this knife. I will. Okay. No, I have a house bag of Avalanche. You still have all the Avalanche. Okay. But you're going to be buying something reasonable with it. It's no big deal. We do need an Owen meme coin, probably.
And if you guys want to see what Owen does during the stream, head to my Twitter.
Oh,
I
yeah.
took a screenshot of
And that also goes for proof of life that Owen's actually a person.
Owen is the shit. So you guys are in the right time. We're speculating on projects. Yes, I'm still bullish, very bullish on ICP, George. We're in the right time, you guys. You are watching this at the right moment. Now, when we do feel like we're in a bear pullback, when we do feel like the bear market is upon us, I will be letting you know, and we will insulate the hatches once again and shut it back down to either weapons, land, or Bitcoin. You know, that's the way we go. So shout out to everyone. Shout out to you guys for joining. And sorry, I kind of, God, you know, we kind of ranted here, Isaac.
That's no problem. I was listening.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to discuss there. Talking about pretty big issues, though. It's like, you know, when you talk about putting voting on the blockchain, you know, I kind of get lost in the potentials of the conversation. You know, but I don't want to get too ahead of myself. But we're looking down the right directions. I appreciate you guys joining me. Appreciate everyone in the chat. Veteran, Wicked Kid, George Martinez, Michael Moore. We got Seth Shepard, the Ondo dude, Robert Young, Jess Jim, and all the other C90FTW and Zachary Martin. Appreciate all you guys, Jake, and I'll see you in the morning. You know what? I'm going to do the morning shows for the rest of the week, probably, but then in the mornings, we're going members only. So hope you're there. Hope you're a member on the stream so you can catch all the juice, get down and dirty on the macro, and I'll be seeing you guys tomorrow. Take care.